Chapter 71. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Puff. As soon as Li Hao finished speaking, the guests in the inn sprayed all over the floor. The waiter who had just opened the room and sent the door number stepped on the air and rolled down the stairs. Damn, this ingot of silver is not easy to earn. The waiter's heart was bleeding. He just heard a click, and combined with the pain from his leg, he could be sure that his leg was broken. Sir, this is the door number of your guest room, all of which are top-level rooms. Although the waiter's leg was broken, he still tried to get up from the ground and tremblingly handed the door numbers of 4 top-level guest rooms to Li Hao. How is it? Is the injury serious? Li Hao looked at the waiter's trembling body and said. Sir, I'm sorry to make you laugh, I'm fine. The waiter said with a smile, but that smile was more terrifying than crying. You are someone who can endure a broken leg. You are very determined. Take this back and wrap it around the broken part. You can get out of bed after 7 days and recover in half a month. Li Hao said after checking the injury of the waiter. He just checked the other party's injury. The leg was just broken, not dislocated, and there was no need for bone setting. After throwing a black jade ointment and 2 ingots of silver to the other party, he took Lian Xing, who was blushing, upstairs. Yu Yang, what's wrong with you? A round man ran out from the back. Boss, my leg is broken, but the young man just gave me a medicine. He said that after wrapping it, I can get out of bed for 7 days and recover in half a month. The waiter looked at the round boss and said. Black jade. Yu Yang, listen to that young man and go back to have a good rest. You must keep the medicine well. This thing is very precious. The boss said with a serious expression. If the news of this kind of thing spreads out, this diligent and smart waiter will definitely not see the sun tomorrow. If he runs into someone who is well informed, the waiter won't even be able to see the moon tonight. Yes, boss, I'll go back right away. The waiter knew from the boss's expression that this thing must be extraordinary, so he quickly stuffed it into his arms, then leaned on a bamboo pole and limped home. Li Lang, is there any possibility that my hand can recover? Lian Xing looked at Li Hao's handsome face, her eyes full of expectation, although she kept saying that she didn't care, which woman doesn't want a healthy and complete body. I'm checking. Although the problem is a bit serious, it's not impossible to recover as before. Li Hao held Lian Xing's right hand and kept stroking it, without any intention of putting it down. Young Master Li, the injured hand of Palace Master Lian Xing is the left hand, not the right hand. Why do you always play with Palace Master Lian Xing's right hand? Hua Xingnu on the side couldn't stand it anymore. This is not a miracle doctor. I think this is just a pervert. After entering the room, when the Palace Master Lianxing took off the gloves on her left hand, except for a glance at the beginning, Li Hao kept playing with the Palace Master Lianxing's right hand for the remaining half an incense stick of time. Xingnu, you are a little ignorant. I am not playing, I am studying. Li Hao said seriously. System, what I like most is the host's serious nonsense. Research, you call it research. If you want to study, you should study the left hand of our Palace Master Lianxing. I think you are a scoundrel. Hua Xingnu also got angry. We are not fools, and we can't be fooled casually. I am so sad, I am so sad. I was determined to find the best way for the child's mother to recover as before, but I was called a scoundrel. My glass heart of 0.1 millimeters thick was broken and shattered all over the floor. Li Hao said with snot and tears. But while he was wiping his nose, his hand was still rubbing Lianxing's right hand. You have a way to cure Lianxing Palace Master's injury. You have a way to cure my injury. Hua Xingnu and Lianxing shouted excitedly. Well, I thought of it, it will definitely be restored. I just studied her right hand to study the size of her bones, the glossiness of her skin, and the fullness of her muscles, but I was called a pervert by others. Alas! It's hard to describe. Li Hao sighed. Wow, Lianxing's hand is so soft, so tactile, and pink. If her right hand can have the skill of the 399 lady in Xinjiang Chinese Medicine Bath Center, spend the night in the hibiscus tent, and the king will not attend the court early from now on, so what? What's the method? Tell me quickly. Hua Xingnu asked hurriedly. Lianxing, who was sitting opposite Li Hao, looked at Li Hao with tenderness and affection. System, that's an expectant look. Do you know how to use words? I was wrong just now. I forgot about it when I was sad. I can't remember it now. Li Hao tilted his head to the other side of Hua Xingnu. What should I do? You should remember it quickly. Hua Xingnu was almost going crazy because she saw the murderous eyes of the Lianxing palace master. Lianxing, I have lived for more than 20 years. This is the first time I held hands with a man. I didn't say anything. What are you complaining about? Now you are the one who caused the trouble. You should take care of it yourself. It's okay to remember it. It takes time. Li Hao said slowly, if you don't pay a price for wronging me, don't expect me to forgive you. How long will it take? Hua Xingnu looked at Li Hao expectantly. The affection in her eyes almost turned into substance. System, damn, I can't watch it anymore. This is not affection. It's obviously because I stared at him for a long time, and my eyes were tired and had mucus. Li Hao, you jerk, get out of here. At least the next second, at most a decade. Li Hao said slowly. Bang! Hua Xingnu staggered, and the copper basin for washing hands on the table was knocked over to the ground. Is 60 years, 60 years, can we still live for 60 years? Hua Xingnu is now in tears. In fact, this time can be shortened by some means. Li Hao said slowly again, that expression, that look, anyone who sees it wants to beat her up. Hua Yuenu and Lianxing thought of the famous doctor who spoke to Yaoyue in a witty way and only said half of the words. In the end, he was stabbed by Yingnu for 99 and 81 times, and each stab was not fatal. In the end, there was only one wound. Hua Yuenu and Lianxing looked at each other. Why not call Yingnu in to try? But it seems that Yingnu rushed out because she was not wearing any underwear and was uncomfortable. Young Master Li, in order for you to remember the treatment method as soon as possible, what do I need to do? Tell me. Hua Xingnu said this and closed her eyes in pain. What if young Master Li wants her virginity? Should she agree, or agree? Chapter 72. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Well, it's actually very simple. Li Hao smiled in his heart. This little girl is quite sensible. Although Hua Xingnu is not a member of the group of beauties, her appearance is still very nice. If she wears black silk high heels and a hip skirt, she will definitely be a confidant of social phobia and a blessing for otakus, but Lianxing is right next to him, and he is embarrassed to take her virginity. After all, he can still distinguish between having meat for one meal and having meat for every meal. Young man, please tell me, I will do it. Even if. Hua Xingnu looked at Li Hao firmly, and put her right hand on her belt. If you kiss me, I might remember something. Li Hao was shocked when he saw it. This little girl is going to undress, she is really sensible, but now there are so many people watching, I will also be embarrassed. So Li Hao, embarrassed, stretched his right face over. System, if I am not mistaken, Hua Xingnu's belt is a software. Hua Xingnu knew what Li Hao wanted as soon as he saw his action, but how could he face doing such a thing in public? Ahem. Lianxing couldn't stand it anymore. How could this guy be so shameless and bully little girls? Mother, have you caught a cold? I have medicine here. Li Hao said seriously, if you are sick, you must treat it and cannot delay. It is not advisable to avoid seeing a doctor. Damn, his boss has protested, but he is still like this. Lianxing simply closed his eyes. After Lianxing closed his eyes, the disciples of Yihua Palace turned around in unison. Hua Yuenu even covered the eyes of the baby in her arms. Seeing this, Li Hao was happy, made a bow gesture to Hua Xingnu, and then tapped his cheek with his index finger again. Shameless guy. Hua Xingnu cursed in her heart, but she didn't dare to curse out loud. She could only bend down with tears in her eyes and kiss Li Hao on the cheek. Pop! Just when Hua Xingnu was about to kiss Li Hao on the cheek, Li Hao suddenly turned his head to face her, and the two of them kissed each other mouth to mouth. Hua Xingnu was stunned. Her first kiss was gone, and why did she have an extra tongue in her mouth? After a long time, the lips parted, and Li Hao smacked his lips. He was still unsatisfied in his heart. Nongfu Spring is a little sweet and tastes really good. Young man, do you remember it? Hua Xingnu's face was red, and she didn't know whether it was because of shyness or holding her breath. After all, ordinary people don't have the lung capacity for a French kiss that lasted for 1.5 minutes. Well, it's almost done, come again. Well. Before Li Hao finished speaking, Hua Xingnu took the initiative to send a sweet kiss. Li Hao was secretly shocked. He didn't expect this little girl to be so passionate. Moreover, why was she so immature when they kissed for the first time, but so skilled the second time? Is this the legendary gifted talent, who can learn it once and understand it at once? Sir, do you remember it? Hua Xingnu looked at Li Hao with affection, as if Li Hao said he didn't remember it, she would feed the tiger with her body and become a saint in the flesh. Ahem. Sir, you remember most of it, and you can start the treatment. If there is anything you don't remember clearly in the future, I will find you to continue the research. After all, Li Hao was still very thin-skinned, and he was still unwilling to do shameful things in front of so many beautiful young ladies. Well, I'll wait for you. The women of Yihua Palace were all passionate. Yao Yue fell in love with Yulong Jiangfeng and chased him for half of the world. Hua Yuenu fell in love with Jiang Feng and was willing to abandon everything and elope with him. Now Hua Xingnu only kissed him twice and let Li Hao pick her. Li Lang, you really have a way to heal my injuries. Lian Xing opened her eyes after not hearing the sucking sound. Yes, but the process is a bit painful and cruel. Li Hao thought for a while and said. I'm not afraid of pain. Every time the weather changes, it's windy and rainy, my injuries are like knife cuts. I have endured this pain for more than 10 years. Lian Xing said, tears of excitement flowed from her eyes. Don't worry, I promise to make your injuries heal as before and give you a healthy body. Li Hao held Lian Xing's right hand and said affectionately, System, if you have the guts to say this while holding someone's left hand, I will obey you. Thank you, Li Lang, when my injuries recover, I will give you Xingnu. Lian Xing said shyly, Hua Yuenu is Yao Yu's personal maid, Hua Xingnu is Lian Xing's personal maid, and her status is equivalent to that of a maid in a wealthy family. This is also why Yao Yu fell in love with Jiang Feng and locked him up tightly, and why he was able to seduce Hua Yuenu into bed. This gift it's a bit heavy. Although I feel ashamed to accept it, I can't go against the kindness of the child's mother. I will accept this gift with a thick face. Hey, why is Miss Xingnu gone? Wasn't she here just now? Li Hao asked suddenly, Lian Xing, you bastard, don't you know the meaning of Yuenu giving you a gift? You are still thinking about Xingnu here. Xingnu went out to do a mission, so she separated from us. Lian Xing said casually. Isn't your Yihua Palace quite far from here? Why do you have a mission here? Li Hao asked curiously while sorting out his things. Well, this is a long story. My sister's personal maid eloped with Jiang Feng and ran here to meet up with Jiang Feng's elder brother Yan Nantian. After my sister learned the news, she brought Xingnu to chase after her. As a result. At this point, Lian Xing hesitated to speak, sighing. What is the result? Jiang Feng is not dead. Why does Yao Yu have so many things? As a result, Jiang Feng was killed by the 12 stars, and Sister Yu Nu was taken away by Lian Qingbi, the sword master of Wuk Villa. The palace master Yao Yu was furious and ordered Sister Xingnu to take people to the rivers and lakes to strangle the peripheral forces of Wuk Villa, and to do not leave anyone alive. Lian Xing did not speak this time, it was Hua Xingnu who said it. The two grew up together, and they had a tacit understanding in speaking and doing things. What Lian Xing did not want to say was often said by Xingnu. How did Miss Yao Yu know that Hua Yuenu was taken away by Lian Qingbi, and we saw Xingnu killing people when we entered the city before? Could it be that the person he killed was from Wuk Villa? Li Hao paused. Hua Yuenu was by his side. how could she be related to Lien Qingbi again? It was the people of the 12 Stars who said that Lien Qingbi rescued Xiao Long Nu in the canyon and killed several of them. Later, he fell into the hands of our Yihua Palace disciples, and Palace Master Yaoyue asked about it. Sister Yingnu killed the person in charge of the outer area of Wuk Villa at the city gate. Xingnu whispered, "Fuck, this works." Li Hao and Huiyuanu looked at each other and saw the disbelief in each other's eyes. Chapter 73. You are listening at novelfull.audio. What's wrong, Li Lang, are you familiar with Lien Qingbi? Lien Xing asked curiously when she saw Li Hao's movement suddenly paused. No, I'm not familiar with him. I've never even heard of this name. Damn, if a friend dies, I'd rather die than die. Miss Yao, you went to cause trouble for Lien Qingbi, wouldn't she have saved herself a lot of trouble? Okay, let's start the treatment. Mother, your injury has lasted too long and you have taken too many medicines, so besides the bones and meridians have been fixed, a lot of toxins have also accumulated in the flesh and blood of your left arm. So, I need to crush all the meridians and bones of your left hand, and then use silver needles to force out the accumulated toxins and poisonous blood, and finally use Shao Huan Dan to repair the meridians, replenish the flesh and blood, and then use He Yu Duanqiu paste to fix and repair the bones. The whole process is to break and then build. The process is cruel and painful, but it doesn't matter, Li Lang, I have suffered. Also, my left leg has the same symptoms. Do you want to treat it together? Lien Xing said with a firm look in her eyes, it's better to suffer a short pain than a long one. Anyway, it's going to hurt, so let's suffer together. Let's treat them separately. Treat the arm first and see how effective this plan is. If the recovery is too slow, let's change the plan for the left leg. I want to say that I have a super knockout drug, and you won't feel the pain after using it. Besides, if I heal your hands and feet and you just walk away, what should I do? Let's take it slow. It's best to grow in love over time. Okay then. I can wait. Although Lien Xing was very eager to get back to normal, she also knew that she couldn't get anything done in a hurry. Okay, I'm going to start healing. Everyone else, get out. This is a family craft, and outsiders are not allowed to watch. After the things were ready, Li Hao began to order the guests to leave. You two stay. Just after all the disciples of Yihua Palace had left, Li Hao grabbed Huiyuanu and Xingnu. Healing injuries is a physical job, and a few of them have to stay to massage his shoulders and back, no, to wipe sweat and feed water. Bear it, I'm going to start. It will be very painful at the beginning. Scream if it hurts. Li Hao carefully instructed Lien Xing in the house. Well, don't worry, I can bear it. It's just painful, ah. A scream came from the house. Several Yihua Palace disciples guarding outside the house looked at each other in bewilderment. How could this scene make people think so much? Bear with it, I will be gentle. Li Hao held Lien Xing's left forearm and crushed it inch by inch. In this process, not to mention Lien Xing, a pretty girl, even a rough old man like Yen Shun would probably not be able to resist drawing a knife to commit suicide. Can you hurry up? Ah, it hurts, I can't stand it anymore, Lien Xing shouted. She really wanted to slap Li Hao to death. This is not just a little bit of pain, this is obviously a heart-wrenching pain. Watching her arm being kneaded into a meatball, Lien Xing felt like crying. Can this meatball be repaired? If it can't be repaired, what should I do? I will be a real disabled person with missing arms in the future. Although I was disabled before, at least I didn't have missing arms or legs. Lien Xing felt bitter, but she didn't cry. Finally it's done, obsessive-compulsive disorder kills people. Li Hao muttered, stretching his neck to let Xingnu wipe the sweat off his forehead. Obsessive-compulsive disorder, what is that? Lien Xing has been tormented by injuries for more than 10 years, and her endurance is no longer what ordinary people can achieve. However, Li Hao's mysterious operation also made her suffer. Obsessive-compulsive disorder, this is not the point, hee hee. Li Hao smiled embarrassedly. Fortunately, the ancients did not know the meaning of obsessive-compulsive disorder, otherwise Li Hao was worried that he would be beaten to death by Lian Xing. Because just now when he crushed the bones and meridians of Lian Xing's left hand again, his obsessive-compulsive disorder attacked, and the size of each broken bone and the length of each meridian were basically the same. Lian Xing endured the pain and looked at Li Hao's mean face, wondering if she had overlooked something. Li Hao's palms flew, and in an instant, dozens of silver needles of different lengths and thicknesses soaked in the cup on the table were all inserted into the acupuncture points of Lian Xing's left arm. Hey, why doesn't it hurt? Lian Xing, whose face turned pale with pain, suddenly asked. 1 second, it hurt like hell, and the next second, she lost all consciousness. Oh, I sealed your acupuncture points with silver needles, so of course you won't feel any pain. Li Hao said casually. Then why didn't you seal my acupuncture points at the beginning? Do you know that I felt pain just now? Lian Xing's face was a little embarrassed. Can't you tell a white lie to comfort me? Well, when you break and then build, it's best to keep the meridians unobstructed, otherwise you may not be able to achieve the effect of recovery. Li Hao lied with his eyes open. Can I tell you that I forgot about this? The ancestors said that girls will only remember the man who hurt her. Oh, damn intensive phobia, I feel dizzy again. This time Li Hao did not lie. Looking at the dense silver needles on Lian Xing's arm, he really felt dizzy. Pop Hua Xingnu smacked Li Hao's cheek. Li Hao turned his head and looked at Hua Xingnu with a red face. Did this tiger woman understand it wrong? I really felt dizzy this time. It seems that her method is quite effective. Li Hao recovered his spirits instantly, and Xiaohaozi raised the flag in high spirits. After being used to the days of soft jade, warm fragrance, jade arms and fragrant lips, this journey made Li Hao miserable. Although a Huayue slave was caught later, the drink can quench thirst, but it can't satisfy hunger. It seems that Xiaohaozi is as hungry as himself. As the silver needle was inserted, Li Hao asked Lianxing to take a small huandan, and then took out a bicotton, crushed it into powder, sprinkled it around the silver needle, and then used internal force to penetrate the medicine into the wound through the needle hole of the silver needle. After a while, the effects slowly came out. I saw that the arm, which had become extremely black due to the precipitation of toxins, slowly turned from light black. Start detoxification. Li Hao took out a knife and cut a wound on the index finger of Lian Xing's left hand. Then drops of black poisonous blood flowed down into the copper basin prepared in advance. Watching the arm slowly recover a trace of white from the shoulder down, Lian Xing's tears flowed out. It was too difficult. Since the injury, this injury has tortured me for more than 10 years. I had planned to give up. As a result, Li Hao appeared at this time, and his appearance gave me hope again. Will Li Hao be the true love sent by God to me? But my sister seems to be very interested in him. It's a headache. Chapter 74. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As time went by, Lianxing's arm, which had been squeezed into a meatball by Li Hao, slowly regained its luster. Lianxing was overjoyed to see this change. After more than 10 years, she finally saw hope of recovery. Open your mouth, take another pill of Xiao Huan Dan to replenish energy. Li Hao took out another pill with the fragrance of herbs and stuffed it directly into Lianxing's mouth, and Lianxing did not refuse. She opened her mouth and ate it. What would be the effect if I took the opportunity to stuff a pill of the goddess falls in love with me into her? Li Hao couldn't help but think about it. However, I still have to take it easy. Lianxing is different from Hua Yuanu and the others. They are typical guides of feminism. If they are not willing, you will either destroy the body or be prepared to be hunted down by them to the ends of the earth. However, looking at the current situation, Lianxing has no defense against me at all. As long as I flirt with her intentionally or unintentionally, it is estimated that it is only a matter of time before this silly and sweet girl with no feelings falls into my clutches. Okay, most of the toxins have been eliminated. Just a few more injections and the skin will be shiny again in no time. Let's start the bone setting. Li Hao's voice was a little tired, maybe because he was tired. There are several goddesses of this age in front of you. You have the ability to eat, but you have to force yourself not to eat. Tell me, are you tired? Do you want to take a break? Lian Xing felt a little distressed when she saw Li Hao's tired face. It's okay, I can hold on. The bones were just crushed not long ago. It's just right to straighten them now. If you let them heal, you will have to endure the pain just now. Li Hao shook his head and said. Well, you do it. Thinking of the heart-wrenching feeling just now, Lian Xing decisively gave up the idea of letting Li Hao take a break. Li Hao did the bone breaking simply and roughly, just breaking everything. He thought much more carefully about the bone setting. After the last piece of broken bones was put together, the black jade intermittent paste was applied, and then fixed with white silk and wooden boards. The whole process took about 2 hours. It was sunset, dusk, and when the bone splicing was finished, it was already pitch black outside the window, and it was late at night. Finally done, perfect. Li Hao stretched and took a deep breath. Damn obsessive-compulsive disorder, I will never do such delicate work again. Li Lang, thank you for your hard work. Lian Xing looked at Li Hao's pale face and tired expression, and sensually used her intact right hand to massage his forehead. It's not hard, everything I do for you is voluntary. Li Hao took the opportunity to hold Lian Xing's right hand, held it in his arms, and confessed to Lian Xing affectionately. Mr. Li, Palace Master Lian Xing, you must be starving, I have prepared food for you. Just when Li Bai was about to lean over to kiss Lian Xing, Hua Xingnu pushed the door open with a large stack of stacked paper. Ah, I still have some things to do. I'll go back to my room first. When Lian Xing saw Hua Xingnu coming in, she felt like she was caught cheating. She immediately stood up and ran back to her room. Hey, what's wrong with Palace Master Lian Xing? She didn't even eat. Hua Xingnu said strangely. People have 3 urgent needs. You have to understand. After all, Miss Lian Xing has been sitting for about 3 hours. Li Hao put a piece of braised beef in his mouth and paired it with his own purified white wine, in one word, cool. What kind of wine is this? Why is it so fragrant? Hua Xingnu said curiously, disciples of Yihua Palace are not forbidden to drink and eat meat, but they are forbidden to fall in love, so Hua Xingnu is not unfamiliar with wine. But they all drink fruit wine, the kind with a very low degree. This is erguoto I brewed myself. Do you want to try it? Li Hao looked at Hua Xingnu jokingly. This little girl is much cuter than Hua Yuenu, and her appearance is a little worse than Yuenu. Li Hao didn't know what the system's Confucianism was based on. Maybe breasts and buttocks accounted for a large part of the score. After all, the proportions of the 3 measurements of the Confucianism members he had met so far were very exaggerated. Xingnu and Abi might have lost because their tons were not perky enough, because in ancient times, it was an iron rule that big buttocks were good for childbearing. Can I drink? Hua Xingnu licked her tongue. She was really greedy. Come on, take a sip and try it. Li Hao handed his wine glass to Hua Xingnu. He also wanted to find someone to drink with him, but Miss Lianxing was just scared away. Yuenu went to sleep with the child, and he took a rough man Yen Shun with him when he went out. He was a young man, and he couldn't drink with Yen Shun, the big and strong bandit leader, in the middle of the night. Hua Xingnu was not polite, and took the cup and took a sip. As for the cup being used by Li Hao, she didn't care about it now. After all, his tongue had explored her mouth several times. Compared with that French wet kiss, this kiss is really not presentable. It's so hot. Hua Xingnu fanned her mouth with her little hands. The wine was mellow, but it was also strong. Come on, let's continue drinking. The wine made the cowards bolder. Li Hao directly pulled Hua Xingnu to sit on his thighs and poured her wine. Hua Xingnu seemed to be intoxicated and drank with Li Hao 1 cup at a time. No, we can't do this. At some point, Hua Yuenu stood up from Li Hao's thighs and ran away from him 1 meter away in an instant. What's wrong? Li Hao was a little dumbfounded. They kissed well just now, and the little girl improved very quickly. Her skills were almost catching up with his major, research, students. How could they bite each other in the last second and run away without a fight in the next second? It's not possible here, Li Lang, don't be impatient. When the Lianqing Palace Master said that he would give me to you, I was yours. But if we are like this now, and the Yaoyue Palace Master knows, we will be dead. Hua Xingnu said with tears in her eyes, holding down the hem of her skirt with both hands. Well, I'm not in a hurry, I can wait. Li Hao still knew that you can't eat hot tofu if you are impatient. Then I'll leave. Hua Xingnu kissed Li Hao on the cheek and left the room with a blushing face, but the faster she walked, the faster she wanted to go back to her room, because it was empty and the chilly feeling was really bad. Li Hao slapped himself lightly on the face. How could this damn master-level understanding clothes not be controlled by him? Li Hao looked at the pink underwear in his right hand. This is an ancient small underwear, otherwise, from then on, another collection was added to the treasure house of Li Hao's system space. Back in the room, Hua Yuanu was sleeping soundly, and Li Hao didn't want to disturb her too much. After all, she rarely rested during the day. However, in order for his brother to sleep peacefully, Li Hao decided to take a risk and do a good deed that would please the people. Chapter 75. You are listening at novelfull.audio. By Shijing, you are a waste. You didn't cripple Xiao Feng in such a good opportunity, and let him escape unscathed. I really trusted the wrong person. In a house on the outskirts of Xinyang, a woman in white plain clothes shouted at a middle-aged man in front of her with a ferocious face. As the old saying goes, if you want to be pretty, you must be filial. This woman has big breasts, fat buttocks, willow waist, melon seed face, cherry mouth, and a slightly cute nose. She looks like a beautiful woman. Especially her eyes, which have a kind of charm that can seduce people. Madam Ma, Shijing is incompetent and did not complete your entrustment. However, Xiao Gangzhu is a man of great benevolence and righteousness. Although he is a chitin, everything he does is for my Han sons, and he has done a great favor to the disciples of the beggar gang. How can Shijing repay kindness with enmity? The middle-aged man in front of Madam Ma said awkwardly. Yes, Xiao Feng is a man of great virtue and righteousness, and you, by Shijing, are also chivalrous and righteous. I, Kong Min, am a slut. I hooked up with you and made you kill Ma Deyuan. I am shameless, sob, sob, sob. Kong Min, who was wearing mourning clothes, sobbed. Madam Ma. You are a heartless by Shijing. You called me sweetheart, baby, and little Minmin at that time, but you called me Madam Ma after pulling up your pants. Why is my life so miserable? Woo woo. When Kong Min heard Bai Shijing call her Madam Ma again, she was so excited that she turned from a crying and whining woman into a crying and threatening woman. Minmin, I have no choice. Xiao Feng did nothing to let down the brothers of the beggar sect. I can't make up some false charges against him. Bai Shijing said awkwardly. Bai Shijing regretted it now. He couldn't figure out why he got drunk when he was drinking at the home of Deputy Leader Ma. He was drunk, but how could he inexplicably climb onto the bed of Madam Ma, the wife of Deputy Gang Leader Ma, and sleep with her in a daze? Sleeping with her was actually not a big deal, at most he would just pull up his pants and deny it. It was just unexpected that Kong Min was actually impressed by his peerless spear skills, and would always seek him out for a fight, although he lost miserably every time. Basically he was beaten to foam at the mouth and kneeled down to beg for mercy, but Madam Ma still enjoyed it. As the saying goes, if you often walk by the river, you will get your shoes wet. Finally, on a dark and windy night, when the two were competing in internal strength, they were caught by the drunken Ma Deyuan. Ma Deyuan married Kong Min, which was a typical old man and young wife. For Kong Min, he even drove away his first wife. Kong Min has always been regarded as his forbidden delicacy, and he was reluctant to let others even look at her, but the result, Ma Deyuan, who felt that he had a piece of green grassland, would not let it go easily, and he would clean up the door on the spot. Of course, his cleaning up the door is that brothers are like hands and feet, and women are like clothes. Kong Min hooked up with his brother, so it was naturally Kong Min's fault. However, Bai Shijing, who had tasted the sweetness, must be reluctant to let go of Kong Min, this beauty. Just when Ma Deyuan was about to slap Kong Min to death, Bai Shijing actually attacked from behind and killed Ma Deyuan on the spot. Afterwards, Bai Shijing also regretted it. Ma Deyuan was really good to his brothers. He didn't blame him at all when he was cheated on, and he always defended himself, but the arrow has been shot and there is no turning back. Ma Deyuan died, so he had to find someone to take the blame. It happened that the news came from the martial arts world that Xiao Feng's sworn brother was Li Hao, the son of Gusu Murong's family, who was good at fighting and changing the stars. Finally, Bai Shijing and Kong Min decided to put the blame on Li Hao. Ma Deyuan's famous skill in the martial arts world is the throat lock. Bai Shijing doesn't know this skill, but he can break bones. Ma Deyuan's body is still at his disposal. In this way, Ma Deyuan, the famous deputy leader of the beggars sect in the martial arts world, died in the hands of an adulterous couple. I don't care what method you use, Xiao Feng must die. Kong Min roared. Why does Kong Min hate Xiao Feng so much? Because Xiao Feng is the only thing she couldn't get since she was a child. She had already tempted him wetly, but he actually ignored her, and finally rejected her sharply, making her lose face in Lingnan. Since I can't get it, I will destroy him. Kong Min thought to herself that no matter what method she thought of, she must get rid of Xiao Feng. Hey, why do I suddenly feel a little hot? Kong Min looked around in confusion. It's late autumn, but why do people feel so hot all over? Min, don't worry, no matter what, I will give you an explanation. Bai Shijing looked at the beautiful Kong Min in front of him, and a lewd light flashed in his eyes. A pair of adulterers, what else do you want to explain? As soon as Bai Shijing finished speaking, a voice came from the direction of the morning hall. Who are you? Hide away. Zong, what kind of hero is he who plays tricks on others? Bai Shijing was shocked. People were near him, but he didn't feel anything. Min, stop it, there are enemies. Bai Shijing looked back and was stunned. Kong Min behind him was actually blushing and was tearing his clothes randomly. I don't want people to watch me when I do things. You should lie down first. Your part will be tomorrow, so take a good rest today. A voice sounded, and Bai Shijing fell to the ground limply. Bai Shijing, I really look down on you. If it were me, I would not be tempted by this girl. The visitor looked at Bai Shijing, who was sleeping soundly on the ground, and said contemptuously. System, it sounds better than singing. If you have the ability, don't take off your clothes. Shijing, come here quickly. Kong Min was in a daze now. She felt like she had a fever. Bai Shijing's figure was all she could see, making it hard for her to extricate herself. Mrs. Ma, please respect yourself. I'm not a casual person. Li Hao said, pushing Kong Min away with one hand. In ancient times, Dayu passed by his home 3 times while controlling floods but refused to enter. Today, Li Hao pushed Madame Ma away 3 times but refused to enter her door, until Kong Min rushed over and tore Li Hao's clothes for the 4th time. Li Hao half reluctantly gave in to her with tears in his eyes. The waist of a young woman, the knife to dig out her waist. The ancients were not deceiving me. When Li Hao rearranged the scene, roosters were crowing outside, looking at Kong Min, whose skin was loose and her hair was white. Li Hao tucked in, moved Bai Shijing to her body, and then used the snow-walking technique to leave no trace, and quickly left the scene. System, I am sure you have embezzled my reward this time. Kong Min is at least ranked 915th in the Kunfangpu. Why did you only reward her 5 years of internal strength and nothing else? Li Hao looked at the reward for completing the task and was immediately furious. 5 years of internal strength, I worked hard all night, and you let me eat the minimum living allowance. Chapter 76. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Host, please watch your words. This system is open, fair, and just. Rewards are issued based on your score when you complete the task. The higher the task score, the higher the reward. If the score is low, there may be nothing. The system said calmly. It sounded like an explanation, but after thinking carefully, it seemed to be implying myself. It seems that they gave the minimum because of their friendship. What scoring mechanism? Look at how well I completed the task. The Qin Huan powder is combined with the best knockout drug to ensure that the other party will be unaware and think that they are having an erotic dream. In addition, I also carefully arranged a scene that Conan couldn't solve. This score must be at least 99 points. Deducting 1 point is not proud of me. Li Hao said with a shameless face, "Bullshit, you just went to complete the task, but it's a pity that the beauty in my Kunfangpu was ruined by you after you needled her and reversed the Yellow Emperor's internal classic." Don't care about this detail, just be happy, just be happy. Li Hao didn't dare to bother with the system anymore, as he was worried that the system would block him. He just checked, and the avatar of Kong Min, the 915th place in the list of beauties, had turned gray. It was obvious that she had fallen off the list, and the initiator of this was Li Hao. The world is bright when the rooster crows, but now the senior executives and disciples of the beggars sect wish to kill all the roosters in the city. Damn, by Xi Jing and Kong Min, if you want to have an affair, just do it. We can't control you, but you should also pay attention to the time and place. This Kong Min is the same, saying that Ma Deyuan's grievances will not be cleared up until one day, and he was thrown into the coffin for so long without being buried. If you don't want to bury him, then bury him. Why did you two adulterers do such a disgusting thing on someone's coffin? And the martial artists who came to pay their respects saw it all. The face of the beggars sect, the largest gang, was completely lost these 2 times. After a low sound, Bai Shijing slowly stopped moving and slowly recovered his consciousness. With a loud bang, Kong Min in his arms was kicked far away by him. Who are you and why are you here? Bai Shijing was confused. Where did this old woman with white hair and chicken skin come from? Why was she naked and hugging him, and what did he do in a daze just now? Ugh. It would be fine if he didn't think about it, but Bai Shijing couldn't help vomiting when he thought about it. Damn it, this old and ugly woman actually had an indescribable thing happen to him just now. Bai Shijing, you are crazy, why do you hit me? When you use me, you say sweet words to me, little baby, and after you use me, you are who you are. I don't care who you are, you must give me an explanation today. What's going on? My voice, my hands, my feet, Bai Shijing, what did you do to me? Kong Min only noticed the changes in her body at this time. Although she was a young woman in her 30s before, she had good capital and took good care of herself, so she looked no different from a pretty girl in her 20s. She was even 100 times more charming than other young girls, but a night of pleasure made her look old and frail now. Even the granary she was proud of was now almost as old as tofu skin. Before you go to him to explain, I think you two should give an explanation to the beggars sect disciples first. Bai Shijing, you are the law enforcement elder of the beggars sect. Not long after the death of deputy gang leader Ma, you did such an adulterous thing with his widow, and on the coffin of the deputy gang leader. Aren't you afraid that the deputy gang leader will become a ghost and come to you to take your lives? The elder who teaches the skills of the beggars sect scolded sternly. And you, Kong Min, as the wife of the deputy gang leader, you kept saying that you would avenge the deputy gang leader before you could be buried, but now you have done such a shameful thing when the deputy gang leader's body is still warm. I think you should be thrown into a pig cage, otherwise I am afraid that the resentment in the heart of the deputy gang leader Ma will not go away. Evil ghost, come to take my life. Kong Min listened to the scolding of the elder who passed on the skills, and her heart suddenly panicked. Could it be that the wronged ghost of De Yuan came to her door last night? Chuan Gong elder, you have to make a decision for Kong Min. Yesterday, Elder Bai Shijing came to me at night and said that there was new information about De Yuan, so I opened the door and let him in to talk. Who knew that Bai Shijing was a beast? He was worse than pigs and dogs. He came in and hugged me to do something improper. I was weak, how could I be a match for Bai Shijing, who was so powerful in martial arts? I was planning to die to keep my innocence, but who knew that this beast pressed my acupoints and then defiled me, woo-woo. Elders of the beggars sect, please judge for me. Although De Yuan is dead, I am the widow of the former deputy leader. De Yuan took good care of him when he was alive. How can he be worthy of the dead De Yuan by doing this to me? Also, I don't know what he practiced, the evil attack has turned the little woman into this. Kong Min picked up a piece of torn white cloth on the ground and wrapped herself casually. If she was like this in the past, the beggar's sect disciples and the martial artists who came to pay their respects would probably salute her, but now, people find it offensive to look at her any more. When youth and beauty fade, it is all in vain, and when beauty eventually becomes a skeleton, it is sad. Bai Shijing, how do you want to explain it? The elder who passed on the skills shouted at Bai Shijing, who was confused. Brother Ma, Shijing knows he was wrong. Bai Shijing didn't explain too much, he just slapped himself on the top of his head, his internal force spurted out, a mouthful of blood spurted out, and he died instantly. The beggar gang disciples looked at the dead Bai Shijing, and looked at each other in bewilderment. What a mess, the deputy leader is dead, the leader asked them to run away, and now the law enforcement elder has committed suicide, who will be the next one? The elder who passed on the skills was panicked. Why were the disciples behind him looking at him? Bai Shijing committed suicide by his own mistake, and I didn't force him to do it. Why are you looking at me? Ah, sleeping until you wake up naturally, counting money until your hands cramp. This is called life. At Tongfu Inn, Li Hao, who had been busy all night, came back and slept a long lazy sleep, and didn't get up until noon. Husband, you got up. Hua Yuanu took a towel and twisted it in the copper basin, then walked over. Well, you didn't go out for a walk and buy some rouge and powder. This Xinyang prefecture is still very prosperous. Li Hao said while wiping his face. I don't dare to go out. Hua Yuanu said hesitantly. You are too timid. Yao Yue can't see my disguise, let alone Lianqing and Xingnu. Besides, you are mine now. Lianqing and Xingnu will not reveal your identity even if they know it. Sooner or later, we will all be family members. Li Hao said shamelessly. Of course, when he said this, he still carefully checked whether there was anyone around. Chapter 77. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It's not because of the palace master Lianqing and the others. Hua Yuanu whispered. Then why? Do you want to? Li Hao's expression instantly became lewd. After all, this can only be rewarded if it is done. Dog system, no bugs left. No, there are many martial arts people outside, all of them are fierce and ferocious, as if something big has happened. The palace master Lianqing asked us not to leave the room. Hua Yuanu said hesitantly, how can there be vomiting without swallowing? What do you mean, we are being targeted? Li Hao was dumbfounded. What does this mean? I walk in the world, a book trembling with fear, a book is honest, a high-profile watch, a low-key life, and I haven't offended anyone. I don't know, anyway, now the downstairs of the inn is full of martial arts people with high martial arts skills, and there are many people rushing here. Hua Yuanu's pretty face was a little pale. She is not worried about her own life or death, she is worried about the two children. What will she do if the children die? As for the two children, they were now hiding in the room with their nanny and maid, not daring to come out. Let's go out and see the excitement. Maybe it's not coming for us. Li Hao said with a smile. He liked to see the excitement the most. Let's not. Hua Yuanu was pulled out of the door by Li Hao before she finished her words. Hey, Miss Lianqing, you are all having breakfast. As soon as Li Hao went out, he saw Lianqing sitting at the middle table in the lobby of the inn, surrounded by martial artists who looked fierce and holding sharp blades. What breakfast? Look at the time, it's noon. You are really good at sleeping, like a pig. We are all having lunch now. Hua Xingnu complained beside him. Knowing that I didn't wake up, why didn't you go in and call me? Li Hao looked at Hua Xingnu and said with a smile. The big hand secretly slid on Xingnu's arm while sitting down. I. A hooligan, a pervert, dared to touch you in public. If I had entered your room, I would probably be the one who couldn't get out of bed now. Hua Xingnu secretly complained in her heart. Lianqing, say something. Hand over the things, we can leave immediately. Otherwise, don't blame us for being ruthless. You have to know that others are afraid of your Ihua palace, but I am not afraid of the four evil men. A muffled voice came from the back of the crowd. It turned out to be Li Hao's old acquaintance, the extremely evil Duan Yanqing. What are the four evil men? They dare to act so presumptuous here. Lianqing Palace Master, hand over the things to our 36 caves and 72 islands. Lingzhou Palace Tonglao will keep you safe. Huh, the four evil men, the 36 caves and 72 islands, dared to come and threaten me, Lianqing. Do you really think that I, Yihua Palace, will not kill people? Lianqing sneered, but now Lianqing was panicking. She was not afraid of any of these people coming one by one. After all, her strength was there. But if they were to come together, she would have to die here. Moreover, her arm had just been treated yesterday, and now it was still tied with a wooden board, so she couldn't fight with others at all. Hey, what's going on here? Old Duan, tell me, why did you pay attention to my sister Lianqing? I tell you, she is the mother of my child, and I will beat anyone who bullies her. Li Hao said domineeringly, System, this is your principle of being high profile in work and low profile in life. She is the mother of my child, and I will beat anyone who bullies her. As soon as this sentence came out, the whole audience immediately caused a commotion. Lianqing's face turned red. Li Hao's words in public were tantamount to confessing to her on the spot. And in such a dangerous environment, this made Lianqing even more moved. Li Hao, the things here have nothing to do with you. Although your Gusu Murong family is powerful, it is still far from our Sun Moon divine sect. Don't cause trouble for the Murong family. Duan Yanqing felt a headache when he saw Li Hao. In his eyes, Li Hao was a troublemaker, and he liked to stir things up. And it seemed that this guy had some relationship with Tianji Lao Ren, and he knew all the secret gossips in the world. How can it have nothing to do with me? I, the passionate swordsman Li Hao, also have a reputation in the world. You gathered together and bullied a few weak women in front of me. Do you think I can't lift the sword? And, old Duan, you are used to being alone. When did you join the Sun Moon sect? Li Hao was furious and slammed the Longquan sword awarded by the system on the table. Duan Yanqing, you forced me to join the Sun Moon sect. I said I was Duan Yanqing everywhere outside, and Dali sent a large number of masters to hunt me down. Now I dare not close my eyes when I sleep. Sir, where is your sword hidden? Hua Xingnu looked at the sword on the table and felt a little silly. Such a long thing, where did the young master hide it so that we can't see it? Is this the point? Why is a girl's thinking so unreliable? With such a cool sword-drawing action, you are actually concerned about where the sword is hidden. You are the amorous swordsman Li Hao, the 158th swordsman on Bai Xiaoxing's weapon list. Just as Li Hao was about to demonstrate to Hua Xingnu where the sword was hidden, a teasing voice sounded at the door, and then a young man with an unsheathed iron sword on his back and a somewhat unruly look walked in. Boy, where are you from? Do you know the rivers and lakes? A big man wanted to squeeze in when he saw the young man enter the door, and immediately scolded him with dissatisfaction. As a result, before he finished speaking, the big man's neck was pierced by the iron sword behind the young man. Nosy, it should be quiet now. The young man said to himself, looking around. The hall, which was originally packed with people, suddenly became much emptier. What a fast sword, not bad. Li Hao applauded. Why, aren't you afraid? The faster my sword is, the more afraid you should be. How strange. The young man looked at Li Hao's face and said word by word. Well, why should I be afraid of you? Li Hao said nonchalantly. Because I'm here to challenge you. Why challenge me? Li Hao asked curiously. Because you are ranked higher than me in the swordsman list of Bai Xiaoxing's weapons. The young man answered honestly. My sword is ranked higher than yours, so you want to challenge me. Li Hao was speechless. Whose child is this? He is so honest. If he has some free time, why not have a drink, flirt with married women, or pick up girls? Why does he need to challenge others? Yes, only by constant challenges can my swordsmanship be continuously improved. Do you agree? the young man said excitedly. Chapter 78. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After traveling thousands of miles, I finally met the amorous swordsman Li Hao. I refuse. Li Hao replied, what era is this? Duel. I stopped playing this kind of childish trick after I was 10 years old, because after the age of 10, children have a sense of shame, and they all go to the toilet to urinate. As soon as Li Hao's words came out, the lobby suddenly became silent. What kind of person is this? People in the martial arts world live on the edge of a knife. In order to pursue the progress of martial arts, it is common to challenge people in the martial arts world, and these people who dare to challenge are also the topic of conversation among martial artists after dinner. But when it came to Li Hao, he refused without hesitation. Why did you refuse? The young man said with a confused look on his face. No reason. Do you know my nickname? Li Hao asked back. Aren't you an amorous swordsman? Aren't you Li Hao? The young man was confused by Li Hao's question. I am the passionate swordsman, also Li Hao, but the good people in the martial arts world have given me another nickname, the Three Wonders Young Master. Ask the people present if I have lied. Li Hao glanced at the martial artists watching. Yes, what Li Xiaoxia said is right. His other nickname is the Three Wonders Young Master, Qinggong, hidden weapons, and swordsmanship. A big man who was stared at by Li Hao immediately understood the meaning of Li Hao's eyes and stood up to explain for Li Hao. Well, yes, this young man is sensible, and I won't take his life later. Then what do you mean by this? The young man still didn't react. I am not a pure swordsman, so it's a little bit wrong to fight with you. If you win, people in the martial arts world will say that you are bullying an amateur swordsman and winning unfairly. If you lose, others will say that you, a professional, can't beat an amateur. No matter what the result of this fight is, you will lose as long as you fight. Li Hao slowly analyzed it for the young man. The onlookers and the young man were speechless. After listening to what Li Hao said, they all felt that it made sense and they could not refute it. Of course, if you really want to fight with swords, I can introduce you to a few sword masters. As long as you can find them, I guarantee that you will have a great fight. Li Hao said after taking a sip of wine. Sir, where did your wine come from? Hua Xingnu was interested in the origin of the wine in Li Hao's hand again. Shut up, you are actually paying attention to this kind of thing when you are so serious. Li Hao knocked on her head and said fiercely, but to be honest, it feels good to knock on the head of a beautiful woman. Tell me, who do you want to introduce to me? The young man looked lost. I have a few candidates here, the deadly swordsman Yan Shisan, as well as Xie Xiaofeng, Shimen Chui Xue, Feng Qingyang, Wu Ming, and so on. I am young, but this is not a reason for you to lie to me. As for the few you mentioned, I can't beat them with one hand. The young man said angrily, swordsman fights can kill people. Li Hao was talking about people who were at the top of the swordsman rankings. If a little Kara like him went to find them, it would be pure suicide. He. Hua Xingnu couldn't help laughing. By the way, you haven't told me your name yet. Li Hao suddenly asked. My name is Lu Xiaojia, Li Hao, I formally challenge you. Lu Xiaojia said loudly. Well, do you think we can change the way of fighting? Li Hao thought for a while and said. How to fight? Lu Xiaojia was so happy when he heard Li Hao agreed to the challenge. We are swordsmen, swordsmen solve it in the way of swordsmen, there is nothing wrong with this. Li Hao explained. You are right, we swordsmen should solve it in the way of swordsmen. Lu Xiaojia rarely agreed with Li Hao's proposal. Look, when we swordsmen duel, there are basically casualties. This is too unfair to us. Why should swordsmen embarrass swordsmen? Also, the sword is the best weapon, so most of us who use swords are good people. Am I right? Li Hao continued to lead the rhythm. Yeah, Lu Xiaojia nodded like a chicken pecking at rice when he heard Li Hao say that he was a good person. Look, the people in this hall are all dressed in strange clothes and look ferocious. There are all kinds of names, such as the 4 evils, the 36 caves and 72 islands, and the sun and moon sect. They are all evil people in the world. Li Hao paused here and deliberately cleared his throat. However, his action scared the people in the hall. Why do you two swordsmen duel with us who are watching the show? In fact, they came to cause trouble for Lianxing and the others, and it has nothing to do with Li Hao. However, Li Hao, a troublemaker, will be blinded by anything related to beautiful women, let alone a beautiful woman like Lianxing, if the strength of the people from each side was not similar, and they were all worried about being taken advantage of by the other side. Lianxing and her friends would have been defeated long ago. What's more, Lianxing's arm is still in the healing stage. So, let's compete in killing people to see who kills more people. The one who kills more people is the winner of this competition. As soon as Li Hao's words came out, all the guests, waiters, and Lianxing and Tongfu broke out in cold sweat. Damn, who gave you the courage to say such a thing, not to mention Duan Yanqing, who is in the late stage of the Grandmaster. There are also many Grandmasters in the 36 caves and 72 islands, not to mention that there are other forces involved. Li Hao's words are equivalent to offending everyone in the inn. However, when Li Hao said this, someone in the lobby was ready to run away. This person was Yun Zhonghe. Yun Zhonghe has always been very wary of Li Hao. Sometimes he would be scared awake by dreaming about Li Hao at night. When he met Li Hao, he hadn't started killing people yet. This time, Li Hao directly asked to kill people. Li Hao might kill him with one sword, and if Li Hao wanted to kill him, it is estimated that the boss could not stop him. Li Lang, you should go up. Don't worry about the things here. Lianxing hurriedly pulled Li Hao, who stood up. Be good, don't worry, in my eyes, they are just a group of chickens and dogs. Li Hao patted Lianxing's little hand and said, before, Li Hao and Lu Xiaojia discussed killing people and fighting with swords. The people in the inn thought that Li Hao was joking. It was not until Li Hao stood up that they knew that he was serious. Li Hao, you are too much. People live by their faces. Li Hao said that they were chickens and dogs in front of so many people. If he didn't give an explanation, they would not be able to mix in the rivers and lakes in the future. Chapter 79. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As the first person took action, the others drew their weapons and rushed up. The lobby of Tongfu Inn was originally very spacious, but after so many martial artists poured in, it immediately became crowded. Fortunately, with the joint efforts of Li Hao and Lu Xiaojia, the lobby soon became spacious, because those who had rushed in before fell to the ground, looking at the pool of blood on the ground. The people watching the fight upstairs and those who had not yet entered the inn were so scared that they dared not speak loudly. It was too miserable. Under the swords of Li Hao and Lu Xiaojia, basically no one survived. Li Hao used the 13 deadly swords, and each sword was soul-snatching and life-snatching. Lu Xiaojia was born as a killer, and the sword moves he used were very ordinary. The only advantage was that it was fast as lightning. When the sword flashed, the opponent's head had already fallen to the ground. Hey, everyone, is there anyone else who wants to bully people? Li Hao shouted upstairs. Damn, what kind of logic is this? People came to trouble Lianxing, and you stood in the way, and you also persuaded Lu Xiaojia to kill so many innocent people. It seems that there are no innocent people in the world. No one is coming. Lu Xiaojia, how many did you kill just now? Seeing that the messenger of Lingjiu Palace and the 4 evil men were silent, Li Hao turned back and said to Lu Xiaojia. I only killed 16 people. Lu Xiaojia said aggrievedly. There were hundreds of corpses lying on the ground, but he only killed 16 people. The win or loss can be imagined. However, Lu Xiaojia was very dissatisfied in his heart, because Li Hao used hidden weapons in addition to swords. If the silver needles were thrown out, at least several of the opponents would fall down. In addition, Li Hao's qinggong was better than his own. When the figure floated by, there would be 1 or more corpses with their necks cut open on the ground. However, Li Hao had already said that he was not a pure swordsman, and hidden weapons and qinggong were his skills. You made Lu Xiaojia feel aggrieved. 16, how many should I kill? Li Hao looked at the mess on the ground in confusion. Since he came to this world, he has done a lot of good things, but this is the first time he has killed so many people. I know, 101. Hua Xingnu shouted from the side. In just a short moment, 101 martial arts masters lost their lives. Not to mention people, even if they were given 100 pigs to chop, they would be weak in chopping. Li Hao, I advise you not to wade into this muddy water. You can't handle this. Lu Xiaojia was quiet, but there was still a group of real masters behind him. What muddy water or not, I guess you must have seen that Miss Lianqing is beautiful and want to take her back to be your wife. Li Hao said to Duan Yanqing, and then sheathed the sword. The Longquan sword cut many people in a row, and the blade was not damaged at all, and there was not even a drop of blood on it. Li Lang, you really misunderstood them this time. They didn't rob me, they wanted to rob something, but I don't have that thing. How can I hand it over? Lian Xing said aggrievedly. What do they want you to hand over? Li Hao was dumbfounded. Did he really misunderstand these people? Peacock feather, the world's #1 hidden weapon. It is famous for its unparalleled power. It was once famous for killing more than 30 underworld masters in one battle. It is said that a while ago, the masters of the Qinglong society sneaked into the peacock villa and stole the peacock feather, but lost it again during the escort. Lian Xing said this, with a helpless look on his face. Then why did they ask you for it? Li Hao was dumbfounded. So this is the situation. How should I know? Didn't my sister chase Jiang Feng all over the world a while ago? That's what caused the incident. Jiang Feng is the son of the first chamber of commerce in the south. His family has countless silver and money. It is said that in order to deal with my sister, Jiang Feng spent a huge amount of silver to buy the peacock feather for protection. As a result, he was robbed and killed by the 12 constellations as soon as he got the thing. Later, there were rumors in the world that the peacock feather fell into my sister's hands. Since the peacock feather is in your sister's hands, why don't they go to your sister, but come to you? Could it be that they can't beat Miss Yaoyue and are going to capture you to exchange for things? Li Hao said puzzledly. Well, it should be like this. Lian Xing said aggrievedly. If it weren't for the fact that I was inconvenient these days, they would have been finished long ago. I say, old Duan, why are you getting worse and worse? You are quite happy to be used as a gun by others. Li Hao looked up and said to Duan Yanqing, who had already gone up to the second floor. What do you mean by what you said? Duan Yanqing seemed to feel something was wrong. I know the peacock feather, the best hidden weapon in the world, ready to explode at any moment, even a master cannot defeat it. Miss Yaoyue is so skilled that beating you is like drinking water and sleeping. If she gets the peacock feather, she will probably give it directly to the second palace master Lianqing. And the main thing about Lianqing Palace is the peacock feather. Do you think that you, a group of big cats and small cats, can be their opponent? Besides, the peacock feather was bought by Jiang Feng, but it is not necessarily obtained by Miss Yaoyue. Wait, if the thing was really bought by Jiang Feng, it would not be in his relics. Li Hao winked at Yan Shun, who was guarding the door of the guest room upstairs. Yan Shun immediately understood and turned around and went downstairs. As soon as Li Hao finished speaking, the entire Tongfu Inn was silent. You could hear a pin drop. Li Hao, you mean that we were fooled? On the second floor, an old woman with silver hair said. Who are you? Am I, Li Hao, such a casual person? I have to answer any random person who comes out to ask questions. I really don't know what to say. Li Hao has never been pampering others. Bold, this is Granny Sang, the envoy of our Piaomiao Peak Lingjiu Palace. Li Hao, the people below are ignorant. You know my identity, so I will tell you straight. If you can tell me who stole the peacock feather, Lingjiu Palace will forgive the people from the 36 caves and 72 islands you just killed. The maid was interrupted by Granny Sang before she finished her words. Although Li Hao is young, he is the current head of the Gusu Murong family and has a noble status. How can a little maid scold him? This is very simple. You just need to know who met Jiang Feng before Yao Yu found him, and the truth will naturally come out. Li Hao said mysteriously, the whole process is just missing that classic line, there is only one truth. Lian Xing, why did Yao Yu fight with Wuk Villa recently? Duan Yanqing suddenly asked. Why should I tell you? I will never tell you that Jiang Feng's mistress Hua Yuenu was snatched away by Lian Qingbi of Wuk Villa. Lian Xing looked at the sky at a 45-degree angle and said proudly. Lian Qingbi of Wugui Villa, second brother, fourth brother, let's go. After saying that, Duan Yanqing flew out of the inn without even looking at Li Hao. Chapter 80. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Li Hao, Granny Sang, promise on behalf of Lingzhou Palace that our grievances are settled today. But if something like this happens again next time. Wait, who settled with you? I have no problem with Duan Yanqing leaving, because he was just watching the show. As for your Lingzhou Palace, these vicious guys personally went to the scene. Li Hao pointed at the group of eccentrics outside the door who were frightened by his swordsmanship. Didn't you kill all those who fought with you? The easier Granny Sang talked, the more strange Li Hao felt. With the character of Tianshan Tong Lao of Lingzhou Palace, anyone who offended her would definitely die. Death may still be a light punishment, and the life and death talisman can make you live a life worse than death, but Granny Sang, the head of the traveling envoy, actually told him directly that the account was settled, so there is only one truth, Tianshan Tong Lao is not convenient recently, don't get me wrong, this inconvenience is not because her period has come. It's the time for her to return to youth every few decades. This is a secret of Lingzhou Palace, and outsiders don't know it, so Li Hao is the only outsider who knows this secret. Then what do you want to do? Do you want to do it again? Granny Sang's tone became cold. Although Tong Lao is not in good health recently, she doesn't want to cause trouble, but it doesn't mean she is afraid of trouble. Granny Sang has been walking around the world with the title of honored envoy for these years, and she has never been so angry. There is no need to do it. I still respect Tong Lao very much. But the little girl yelled at me just now, which is very disrespectful. I, Li Hao, am the head of the Gusu Murong family after all. How can I be scolded by a maid casually? Li Hao said with a smile, but everyone could hear the naked murderous intent in it. Impossible, Li Hao, don't push it. The girl is Granny Sang's confidant and right-hand man. How can she be handed over to Li Hao to ravage? Doing so will make Lingzhou Palace look good. Don't rush to refuse. I can trade you a secret. Li Hao said to Granny Sang with a smile, and made a mouth shape while speaking, Li Qiushui. What secret? Granny Sang was shocked when she saw Li Hao's mouth shape. She had heard these 3 words countless times when she was with Tong Lao. Whenever it was late at night, Tong Lao would run to the top of Piamiao Peak alone and hammer the stone wall on the top of the mountain, shouting the 3 words Li Qiushui while hammering. Granny Sang knew who Li Qiushui was, and she had also heard about the grudge between her and Tong Lao. In recent years, she has led people to travel around the world, and finding the whereabouts of Li Qiushui is also one of her goals. Do you know where she is? Granny Sang asked with a gloomy face. I know, but why should I tell you? Li Hao looked at the sky at a 45-degree angle, but he only saw a big spider on the roof. Granny Sang, don't believe Li Hao's lies, she must be lying to you. The girl saw Granny Sang looking back at her, and she was so scared that she almost peed. Li Hao is a big devil, lustful and murderous. If I fall into her hands, I will definitely be humiliated and worse than death. The girl even thought of the 108 postures in which Li Hao humiliated her. Xiao Qiu, this matter is not up to you and me. If Li Hao dares to lie to me, I will make him die without a burial place. Granny Sang promised the girl Xiao Qiu. Then she grabbed her collar and threw Xiao Qiu over. Granny Sang is really straightforward. I will accept this girl with a bad mouth. Li Hao reached out to catch the little girl, and then threw it to Yan Shan who had just entered the door. Yan Shan, although this girl has no breasts and no buttocks, she can still be used to relieve fatigue in her spare time. You have followed this young master for so long, this is a reward for you. Thank you, young master. Yan Shun was not vague. Since it was given by the young master, old Yan will accept it. Also, the young master thinks too highly of myself. With this little girl's appearance, she would be a courtesan and a pillar in a brothel. When old Yan was a bandit, he would at most look for a few dozen pennies, but he had never seen such a pretty girl. Li Hao, where is the thing you said? Granny Sang ignored Xiao Qiu, who kept wiping tears in Yan Shun's arms. She was most concerned about the whereabouts of Li Qiu Shui. Take this and follow what is written on it. I guarantee that Tong Lao can find her. Li Hao waved his hand, and a paper ball shot towards Granny Sang like lightning. I hope you didn't lie to me, otherwise. Granny Sang took the paper ball and saw a few words written on it that looked like chicken scratch soil. Xixia Imperial Palace, Queen Mother and Concubine Dowager. 8 big characters. Although the characters are ugly, they can still be recognized. Don't worry, I, Li Hao, have always been known as an honest young man, and I never lie, people. Follow the clues to investigate and I guarantee you will find them. Li Hao said with a serious expression, Hua Yuanu, you are honest. Lian Qingbi is probably crying to death in the toilet now. Let's go. Granny Sang looked at Xiaoqiu, who was crying like a pear blossom, and left the inn with the maids and the rough men from the 36 caves and 72 islands. As for whether they would return to Lingjiu Palace or look for Lian Qingbi or Li Qiushui, that was not something he could control. What's your name? Li Hao turned around and asked the girl who was yelling at him. My name is Xiaoqiu. Xiaoqiu said tremblingly. Granny Sang had left with her people, and Xiaoqiu had accepted the reality. In front of Li Hao, she also began to call herself a slave. From today on, you are a servant of my Li family. Take good care of Yan Shun for me. If she dares to disobey, old Yan, you will deal with her well. Li Hao said viciously. Yes, its master. Xiao Qiu glanced at Yan Shun, and her eyes suddenly dimmed. He is so ugly, and he is so different from Li Hao. Why is his life so miserable? Why do you yell at him for no reason? He, don't worry, Miss Xiao Qiu. I, Yan Shun, am an honest man. Although I am ugly, I will be very gentle to you. Yan Shun is very happy now. The young master is such a good man. He even arranged a wife for him. As Li Hao's first lackey, Yan Shun secretly made a decision in his heart. In order not to lose the face of the young master, he would only order the mainstays and the courtesans when he went to the brothel in the future. Finally they left, and Li Hao breathed a sigh of relief. These people blocking here are also a trouble, and Li Hao is the most afraid of trouble. Young master, another one of the industries operated by our villa outside has been taken down. A servant ran into Wuk Villa and said to a young man who was practicing sword. Didn't I tell you to close all the shops? Why did someone pick them up again? The young man stopped practicing sword and asked curiously, recently it has been a turbulent time. In order to avoid unnecessary losses, he had already closed down all the businesses in the villa.